Hi, boys and girls. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And I am here, Mrs. Smith, to teach you about reading. And in reading, we've been learning how to become an avid reader. So you've been learning from other teachers, and today it's Mrs. Smith's turn. So to become an avid reader, you read a lot. Avid readers read a lot. And not only do they read a lot, but they find places everywhere to read. Like maybe at a table or at your desk, maybe outside, like on a picnic or in your front yard, in your backyard. Maybe you read on your bed. Maybe you read like in the car or on the bus, like when we used to go to school. Or this one even shows someone reading at the beach. So an avid reader reads everywhere. They find places wherever they are to read. An avid reader keeps a stack of books in waiting. And that means an avid reader doesn't just have one book and finish reading it and say, okay, now I'm done, do. No, an avid reader, they finish one book, they put it down, and they grab the next. They want to keep going and keep reading and reading and reading. An avid reader can't stop reading. So when that time is up, an avid reader says, oh, I wish I could keep reading. An avid reader really pays attention to their books. So look, the eyes are on their book. Their eyes are on the ceiling. They're not picking their toes. They're not picking their nose. No, an avid reader has their eyes on the book and they read from cover to cover, flipping, reading everything on the page, thinking about it, and then flipping to the next page until they're all done. And then they go to that stack of books that we talked about before. An avid reader also feels what the characters are feeling. So you learned with Mrs. Conley about if a reader is or a character is sad, instead of just saying the character's sad, you might say maybe the character's feeling disappointed. Maybe the character is feeling lonely. So even just a feeling, you can really think about how the character's feeling and break down those feelings into even more clear feelings. So avid readers do all of these things. And that's kind of tricky, especially now that we're at home. So what we're going to do today, today's teaching point is all about making goals. And our goals are a little bit different now that we're at home. I'm going to hang up a new chart. And today's goal, and what I want your reading goal to be, goal is to read for 15 minutes. 15 minutes. This is a goal that we worked up to when we were at school. We slowly built. We read for 3 minutes, then for 5 minutes, and then 7 minutes. And slowly, after time, we were able to read for 15 minutes in our classroom. Remember that? I do. So we built up our reading stamina is what we called that. Now though it's different, we're at home, and the distractions that we have at home are different than the ones that we had in the classroom. So we need to talk about how we can overcome those distractions. Now a distraction is something that keeps you from reaching your goal. It's something that's going to keep you from being able to read for 15 minutes. So let's talk about some of those things. One thing that might keep you from reading for 15 minutes, brothers and sisters. Anyone have any brothers or sisters at home? Yeah, and sometimes brothers and sisters, whether they're older or younger, sometimes they can be a distraction and they can keep us from being able to keep our eyes on the book as an avid reader. So this is one thing that can distract us from reaching our goal. We love brothers and sisters, but sometimes it makes it kind of hard. Another thing that might distract us from reading for 15 minutes is if our bellies are grumbling and we're really thirsty or hungry. Sometimes that'll keep us from being able to read for 15 minutes. And at home, you know right where the kitchen is and you know where the snacks are. So that's even trickier than at school. So that's another thing that might keep us from reading for 15 minutes. Another thing that might keep us from reading for 15 minutes is if we just have one book. If I just find my one favorite book at home, then when I finish reading that book, and it might take like 5 minutes, I'm just going to go on to something else or start looking around or just waiting, tick tock, for that time to run up or run out. So only having one book, not having enough books, is another reason we might not read for 15 minutes. And the last one that I wrote up here that happens a lot is when we're reading, I see the, I don't know this word. It's tricky. I'm stuck. Sometimes we get stuck on a word. And sometimes that word, if we get stuck on, all of a sudden we say, oh, I don't know this word. Oh, look, there's the ceiling. Oh, brother and sister over there. Ooh, I'm kind of hungry. Oh, do. And before we know it, we're not reading. So sometimes just getting stuck on one word can throw us off, and it can keep us from reaching our goal of reading for 15 minutes. So let's talk about some of the things we can do. When you are at home, you want to find a just right spot. So you want to find a spot where brother and sister are not going to distract you. You may need to find a spot that is away from food or drink so you're not distracted and saying, ooh, I want that. Ooh, I want that. You need to find a spot that is a just right spot, just like you had to in the classroom. So maybe a just right spot for you is a quiet spot in your bedroom. Maybe a just right spot for you is like taking pillows and making a little comfy spot behind a chair or behind the couch. Maybe a just right spot for you is going underneath the dining room table and kind of finding your own quiet space. Find a spot where you will not be distracted from these things. Another thing that you need to do is gather a stack of books. So over here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stacks or 5 books to read. You don't want to run out of books to read. You don't want just one book and then spending all your 15 minutes going to your bookcase or going to your backpack and finding your library books, and all your time is wasted just looking for books instead of reading. And reading time is meant for reading, not for searching for books. So have a stack of books already. Have that stack of 10 books just like we do at school. Another thing that I want you to do is use your super reading powers. Dun, 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 dun. Remember all those super reading powers that we learned about? Like picture power and sound power. And there were so many. And of course, the last one, persistence power and never giving up. So I don't want you to get stuck on words like this and keep yourself from reaching your goal of 15 minutes. So use those superpowers. Remember everything that you have learned. That way you can reach your goal. So today, when you are reading, I want you to make sure you set yourself up for success. Set yourself up to read for 15 minutes without any distractions. Do you think you can do it? I know you can. Good luck today.